I wasn't supposed to stop. That's the one rule truckers always told me about driving across Nevada at night. Don't stop for anyone. But when I saw her standing on the shoulder, perfectly still, staring directly at my car, I slowed down anyway. And that was the biggest mistake of my life. I remember it was sometime around 1:30 in the morning. I was driving eastbound, somewhere between Elko and Winnemucca. If you've never driven that stretch before, it's nothing but darkness. No houses, no streetlights, just desert and empty road for miles. My gas tank was half full, my phone had no signal, and my radio kept cutting in and out with bursts of static. At first, it was peaceful. Just me, the road, and the low hum of the engine. But then I noticed something strange. The temperature outside dropped suddenly. My dashboard showed 67 degrees, then 59, then 52, in less than 2 minutes. I frowned. That didn't make sense. Deserts don't cool down that fast. That's when I saw her. She was standing on the right shoulder of the highway, not waving, not moving, just standing there, watching my car. My heart started pounding. Nobody walks out there, not at that hour, not in the middle of nowhere. I remember telling myself, keep driving, just keep driving. But as I got closer, I could see more clearly. She looked young, maybe early 20s, long dark hair, wearing a pale jacket, and no shoes, bare feet on the asphalt. I felt this tight knot in my chest. At first, I thought maybe her car broke down. Maybe she needed help. So, against my better judgment, I slowed down. I rolled my window down just a little. "Are you okay?" I asked. She didn't answer right away. She just stared at me. Her face was pale. Not dirty, not injured, just empty. Then she said something I'll never forget. "You weren't supposed to stop." Her voice was calm, almost emotionless. I swallowed. "What happened?" I asked. "My car stopped working," she said. She pointed behind her. I looked. There was nothing there. No headlights, no car, just darkness. I hesitated. Every instinct told me to leave, but something else, something I can't explain, made me unlock the passenger door. She got in slowly, quietly. She didn't say thank you. She didn't even look at me. She just faced forward. I noticed her skin looked wrong, too pale, almost gray. I tried to stay calm. "Where are you headed?" I asked. She paused. Then she said, "The next exit." Her voice sounded distant, like she wasn't fully there. I nodded and kept driving. Minutes passed in silence. The radio started acting strange again. Static, then a faint voice, then silence, then static again. I glanced at her. She hadn't moved. She wasn't blinking. She wasn't breathing. At least, it didn't look like she was. My hands tightened on the wheel. I told myself I was imagining things, but then she spoke again. "You missed it." I frowned. Missed what? "The exit." I looked at the road. There was no exit, just endless highway. "I don't see anything," I said. She slowly raised her arm, pointed ahead. "There," she whispered. I looked harder, and that's when I saw it. A small exit sign, barely visible, old, faded. I hadn't seen it before. I slowed down, took the exit. The road was narrow, cracked, no lights, no signs of life. just darkness. I felt this overwhelming sense of dread, like I wasn't supposed to be there. We drove for maybe a mile. Then she said, "Stop here." I stopped. The engine idled quietly. She reached for the door handle, then paused, and turned toward me for the first time. Her eyes, they looked empty, like there was nothing behind them. "You shouldn't have stopped," she said again. Then she opened the door and stepped out. I watched her walk into the darkness. She didn't look back. She didn't run. She just walked until she disappeared. I sat there for a moment, trying to process what just happened. Then I noticed something. The passenger seat. It was wet, like someone had been sitting there in soaking clothes, but it hadn't been raining. My heart started pounding again. I quickly turned the car around, got back on the highway, and drove, fast. I didn't stop until I reached a gas station about 40 miles later. Bright lights, other cars, people. I had never felt so relieved. I parked, went inside. There was an older man behind the counter. He looked at me. Then he looked at my car. Then back at me. "You okay?" he asked. I nodded. "Yeah, why?" He hesitated, then said, "You came from the east?" I nodded again. He frowned. "You stop anywhere?" My stomach dropped. I didn't know what to say, so I just shrugged. He leaned closer. "Kid, there hasn't been an exit out there for 12 years. I froze. "What?" He nodded slowly. "There used to be one, old service road. They shut it down after a crash." My throat went dry. "What crash?" He stared at me. "Girl died out there." My hands started shaking. She was walking on the highway, late at night. Someone picked her up. He paused, then said, "They never found the driver." I couldn't breathe. I left the gas station immediately, got in my car, locked the doors, and just sat there, trying to calm down. That's when I noticed something else. My passenger door was slightly open, just barely. I know I had locked it. I know I had closed it. My heart pounded in my chest. Slowly, I turned my head and looked at the passenger seat. It was empty, but there were wet footprints, bare footprints, leading from the seat to the door and out of the car. I stared at them, unable to move, unable to think. Then my radio turned on by itself, just static at first. Then a faint voice, her voice. "You weren't supposed to stop." I shut the radio off immediately, but the voice didn't stop. It wasn't coming from the radio anymore. It was coming from behind me. I froze. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. I just sat there, feeling something in the back seat, something watching me, breathing, waiting. I started the car and drove. I didn't look back. I didn't stop. Not until the sun came up. When I finally got home, I checked my dash cam. I needed proof. Needed to know I wasn't losing my mind. I watched the footage. Saw myself driving. Saw the empty highway. Saw the moment I slowed down. Saw my passenger door open. But nobody got in. The seat stayed empty the entire time. No girl, no passenger, nothing. Just me, talking to empty air. I stared at the screen in horror, my hands trembling, because I remembered her. Her voice, her face, her eyes. She was real. She had to be real. But the camera said otherwise. I don't drive at night anymore. I don't take highways through the desert, and I never pick up strangers. But sometimes, late at night, when I'm alone in my car, my radio still turns on by itself, and I hear her voice, calm, emotionless, right behind me. You weren't supposed to stop.